Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Raise a Vibe with Liz. I'm your host, Liz Peterson, and today I'm going to be interviewing Bryan Driscoll. He's joining me to talk about his book, The Goodness Game. So, those of you who aren't familiar with Bryan, Bryan is an author, real estate investor, entrepreneur, and the mind behind The Goodness Game, a book about inspiring kindness and showing how even the smallest acts can make a huge difference in someone's life and make you feel amazing in the process. Bryan's personal journey has been shaped by a powerful act of kindness that happened 20 years ago after a stranger picked him up off the street and offered him a meal and a place to stay. Bryan's life was forever changed. This simple yet profound act ignited a passion in him to pay it forward and ultimately led to the creation of the Goodness Game. Bryan, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Such a pleasure to host you. Thanks for reaching out to be on the show. I think the more that we can put out goodness in the world, kindness into the world to show us that it's not all bad, or the videos that we see online aren't all making fun of people, aren't all negative, aren't all the nonsense that's going on in the world today, I think the better. So thanks for joining me. I want to kind of jump into who you are and where you were when this happened to you 20 years ago.
Sure thing. So who I am now, I'm a dad and like you said, business owner, own a digital marketing company, first time author, um, three sons, they're 13, 11, and 9. So they keep me on my toes all the time. Right. So, and I'm married, happily married. So life's good. You get punched in the face all the time still, but turned out pretty good.
Nice. What happened 20 years ago, Bryan? Like, what were you doing and what had you in that situation where this person came forward and was able to, give you this grace and this act of kindness?
Yeah, sure. So it was back in it's probably 25 years ago now. Um, I got upset. I was pissed at my parents, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna run away. So I think I just turned like 18. I was an adult, like just young, but I'm like, I'm running away, getting out of here. And I went down to the Greyhound station in Pittsburgh. So I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh, and I'm like, give me the next bus leaving. So they see that stuff in movies all the time, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try that. Next bus was going to Orlando. So I took some clothes. I had a couple $100, hopped on a Greyhound station, and or went down to the Greyhound, hopped on the bus, and went to Orlando. So I hop on there. The bus is going like side to side, like going from all these different cities, things like that. And I make it down to Orlando probably around like 11 p.m. And I met a couple on there. And what they said, they're like, hey, what are you doing? And keep in mind, this was back before Uber, back before cell phones, things like that. So I was talking with them and they're like, well, wait, why don't you come back to our place? We'll call around, see if we can find a hotel for you. And then I did that. So I went to their place. We pulled out the yellow pages. That was a thing back then, and called around and found a Days Inn. It was $25. So they dropped me off there and then I was off. Right. So I only had a couple $100 and the rooms were $25. So I'm like, I need to go get a job. So I went to one of the grocery stores and I didn't think about it and I never realized it. And a lot of people probably don't also. It's really hard to get a job if you don't have an address and a phone number. So I couldn't fill out the application. I grabbed the manager. Well, I didn't grab the manager. I asked, hey, can I talk to the manager? Because I was picturing I'm just going to try selling myself into the position. And he explained, hey, we can't do that. We're a corporation. Plus, you wouldn't get paid for a couple weeks anyways. So I'm like, okay, I got some problems here. So what I decided was in Florida, they have these places, they're called job labor pools. And it's where you go in the morning early and you just stand around and contractors will come and pick people up. They need laborers for the day. So I did that, went, showed up, and the guy picked me. So I'm like, okay, this is good. At least I got some money coming in. And the job it was brutal too. It was like in the middle of July or something in Florida, and we were carrying scaffolding across a huge parking lot. Because they were building it was a tree. I'm pretty sure it was the animal kingdom's like magic tree or whatever you call it. But it was back then they were building it. So I did that and I was making $25 a day. My room cost $25 a day. I didn't have any money for food. I was eating like Wendy's 69-cent hamburgers. So my idea was I'm going to go sleep at the Greyhound station one night to recoup, like to give myself a break, get a little bit of cash going. And that's what I did. So I packed up my stuff, started walking to the Greyhound station. On the way there, some lady pulls up beside me and she was in a black Geo Tracker. And I remember her son was in the car too, as an adult. She looks over and she's like, "Hey, it doesn't look like you belong here. Where are you going?" And I told her, and I don't remember the exact conversation, but I find myself in the back of her Geo tracker, and she took me back to her house. She lived like 50 minutes from Orlando. So looking back on it, number one, like I had an angel looking out for me there. Who picked someone up there? And then also I was going to basically be homeless. So she takes me back to her place, gives me some food. I stayed there for a couple days. She had this like I remember they had a horse and a white fence outside in a normal house, and they had this like big cat. It was like not a normal cat, it looked like a big cheetah or something. Um, so I stayed there. She spotted me a couple $100 to get me on my feet. And long story short, I ended up coming back to Pittsburgh after that. I owe her $300 still. I lost her information just because I was young and I didn't care at the time. It's like I didn't have any money to pay her back anyways. As time went on, I started making money and it kept like popping in my head. I'm like, I owe this lady money. I don't have her contact info. But that's where the story really started. Like she made a difference. She picked me up. She probably thinks, hey, I just helped out some kid on the street and he ripped me off for $300. And meanwhile, it made like a humongous impact in my life.
That is an amazing story, Brian. Wow, what an angel to stop. She must have seen you. She's got a son of her own. She can see that, you were standing out, not really part of the community, really like saw that you were in need and pulled on her heartstrings. It makes me wonder too, like what happened in her life where maybe somebody did that to her, and here's her opportunity to possibly pay it forward to you. What did you do after that to like kind of pay it forward? You were saying, you didn't have her contact information. It was, kind of popping into your head that this was something that you wanted to do. What gave you the idea to start paying it forward, Brian?
Yeah, so I was young, so I used to get in a lot of trouble, right? I used to basically be a troublemaker when I came back, got into drinking and all that kind of stuff. So it wasn't on my brain. And then eventually, I forget what year it was, I saw the movie Pay It Forward. I'm like, you know what? That really resonated with me. And I started feeling guilty. I'm like, I owe her money. She really helped me out. And I have no way to pay her back. So it kind of gave me a little relief. It's like, okay, I'm going to do this. This is my way to pay her back. Because I saw the movie, I thought it was a good idea. So I started doing that and just like small things. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I'm going to help someone move or whatever. You know what I mean? And it started to become a habit. And I don't know when something clicked, but I started getting curious. I'm like, okay, everybody says small things make a difference. I'm like, prove it. Like everyone says it. Like, how do I know that's true? Like, I'm always skeptical. Um, so like years later, so I started helping people out just in general, right? And I never tell anyone about it. Like, it was just I just did it. I didn't talk about it really. In 2009, I was laying in bed. My brain was racing. And I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, I wonder if you can prove like the ripple effect. Like if you can prove cause and effect in people, like if it's a real thing, right? So what I did was I hopped on Craigslist and I put a post up. I picked a random city. It was Chicago. And I put a post up on Craigslist and I said, hey, I'm willing to come to the city, help anyone out. I don't want anything in return. Just pay it forward. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I just posted it and I went to bed. And I was just curious, hey, are people going to even respond? So in the morning, people did respond. So a lot of them were like, hey, this is cool if it's legit, not a scam. Some people were like, I get some weird emails. And then I got some people that wrote back though, and they're like, yeah, if you're legit, I do need some help. And it was, I thought people were going to be asking to pay their rent or like give them money. These people were saying, hey, you know what? I just bought a truck and it's 45 minutes away and I don't have a ride. Anyway, you can give me a lift. Or another lady was she got a swing set on Craigslist for free. She just needed help taking it down. One guy needed a car battery. He was the only one that needed something with money. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna hop in the car and just see what happens. Drive to Chicago for the weekend. I go do these things. I had an old camcorder and I documented like little bits and pieces of it. And I came back and I remember on the way home feeling like this was awesome. Like this was what I'm built for. And I got home. I made a small video on Windows Movie Maker. It's like crappy. Like I'm not a video editor or anything, but I stuck it on YouTube And I wanted to see, it's like, okay, can this one act inspire anybody else? And people started commenting like, hey, this made a difference. This made me feel good, things like that. So I'm like, okay, that kind of proves the model. But then the media picked it up and it went viral. So in my head, then I'm like, okay, I proved that small things can make a difference. Like you can truly have a ripple effect in a positive way. And that's kind of like where I started like really thinking it through intentionally.
That's amazing. That's so cool that you had this idea and then you're like, you had the follow through, you put it in the newspaper, let's see what's going to happen. You had these, people showing up. Did you see the ripple effect in the people that you helped?
I did. So the first guy I picked up, his name was Mike. I helped him pick up a truck. He actually came the next day and helped take our swing set over, which was really cool. But then he stayed in touch with me for a while too, and he was really inspired. And he did a like it just like gave a positive impact in his life. What's really cool is though, it's like I know you can only see so far. So it's like, okay, I helped him, but the cool thing is, number one, I don't know where it went after that, but I know it went somewhere. Like he told me a couple stories, but I don't know them. So it's like you just get to like imagine. It's like you just keep doing things. 9 out of 10 aren't going to have an effect, but then that one might go like 4 lengths in or four people deep. And you never know. And I figure if you just keep doing good things and helping people out, like it's a positive thing. Even if you change things like 0.1% into positive, that's good.
Yeah, it's all good. And we forget that when we do something nice, even if it's smiling at the cashier or helping a guy pick up his truck, like it ripples out. Even if it's just that cashier that you smiled at and you were nice to goes home and she's nice or he is nice to the family, or he sees somebody where he goes or she goes, and they extend an act of kindness because you extended an act of kindness, and it goes on and on. I think it's something that we don't realize that happens as we're engaging all the time. I know I see threads like this happens and then that happens, and I've said it before on the podcast, like we're this tapestry and our threads are bumping into each other, and we have no idea the extent that that thread extends through the tapestry and how long it extends for. It could be generational. I mean, Bryan, you wrote this book. It's going to be generational. It's going to be a legacy for your boys that you were talking about.
Yeah, and it is cool. Yeah, and you're right. Because yeah, it's like just smiling at like picture this, like sitting in traffic. I know everyone's been in traffic, and you're in a normal lane, and there's always this guy that comes right up to the end and tries to cut in. And I know you always feel like anxious, and especially if you're the guy trying to get in, you feel like anxiety. Even something like that, like just letting someone in traffic, it can, you don't know, they could be coming from a funeral or whatever. You just that small little thing could change. Maybe they're on the phone with somebody or calling someone next, and they could be in a little bit better mood. Things like that, like the smiles. It's like all those small things. And you're right, you don't know how far it goes, and you don't know what happens, but you know that you did something positive.
Nice. You were saying that you grew up in Pittsburgh. You're still there. Go Steelers, by the way. A couple years ago, I flew out to see my dad in Maryland, and I took my third son. I have four boys, and took my third son, and we drove up because he's a huge Steelers fan, and they were playing the Ravens. So I grabbed tickets, and I'm always on the fence when the Ravens and the Steelers are playing because I like both. But drove up there, had a great day up in Pittsburgh, and drove back the same night. It was wild and crazy, and we had a great time. Great community. We really enjoy the community. What do you do around your surrounding area, around your community to give back?
So what I do is I try to help other people that are doing awesome stuff. So obviously, like if opportunities pop up for me, I help people out just in general, right? But I see a lot of people, like I have some friends, they every Sunday they go down and they organize like 50 people to feed the homeless. And it's awesome. So I try to like support them, even small things like that. It's like, wow, you guys are doing something awesome. And the interesting thing is when you look at what they do, they need so many different types of people. Like they have people that will go down and help cut hair. Like that's one type of person. They have people that will go just talk with the homeless. It's like empathetic. They have people that you need to cook. They have some people you need to like raise money for, like to buy the food, stuff like that. So that's really cool. So I kind of fit in with some of those every once in a while. Like when things pop up, I'm the guy that will just step in. It's like, hey, if you ever need something and you don't have stuff handled, I'm good. You know what I mean? I can help you out with that kind of stuff. But most of the stuff though is not necessarily like big things that you would think make a difference. Like it's not like, oh yeah, I sponsored your food or something like that. Most of the things are like really small things. It's like, hey, you know what? I had a crappy day, and it's just listening to that person without giving feedback or anything like that and just being empathetic. Or we were just giving coffee away last week at a coffee shop, which was fun. And the cool thing with the coffee shop, there's a coffee shop in Pittsburgh called Compass Coffee or Compass Point Coffee. And we went down there and I just bought some coffee, and people walk in, and you're like, yeah, coffee's on the house, and they're shocked. Like, okay, well, what's the catch? And then when you explain it, it's like, okay, they could feel good. It's like you could see it in their face. They're like, wow, this is weird. I'm not used to like no strings attached free stuff. Like, but then you can see their mood. They're leaving in a good mood, and who knows what effect that happens in their day.
And you're saying these words, empathetic and all, you talk about that in your book and you actually label the different variety of ways that our personality gives. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So I learned in business a while ago. There's some things I'm good at and some things I can do, but I don't like doing them. So I look at it as like it gives me energy or takes energy away. So what I did was in my business first years ago, I just did an exercise. It's like I write down everything I do for a week. It's like when I do that, at the end of that, do I feel better or do I feel like I'm drained? And I put it on a piece of paper. One side's give me energy, one side takes energy away. At the end of the week in the business, I looked at it, it's like everything that drains energy, I need to hire someone or delegate that to somebody else to do that is built for that stuff. So then when I was looking at helping others, I'm like, I wonder, like some people are good at something, some people aren't in it with the helping styles. And even I noticed too, when people ask me to help in some things, I say yes, but I'm like, man, I really regret getting involved with this one. You know what I mean? And so what I started looking at is in business, I'm built a certain way. In life, everybody's built that way too. So I started thinking, okay, for example, in that scenario with my friends with the homeless, it's like they need different types of helpers. It's like, let's come up with a way that people can find out what their helping style is. Because some people have time, some people have money, some people have sweat. You know what I mean? It's like, what kind of helper are you? Like, are you the kind of person that someone can call up when they don't have any money and they need their brakes changed or oil change and say, hey, can you change my oil? Some people love doing it. Me, I don't. It's not my thing. But there are other things that are my thing. So what I found was it's like if you can figure out what your helping style is, and more importantly, what your helping style is not, you can stay away from those things because there's other people going to handle them, and you can kind of stay in your lane, which then you can really make a difference because that's your thing. Like you're really good at it, and you're not draining yourself out. So that's kind of why where it is because like my wife's a paraprofessional. She works with special needs kids in school. She's really empathetic, really patient, and she's really good at that. I'm built totally opposite. So like I help people in a totally different way. And if you put me in that situation, I'd hate life after a week. And same with her if you put her in my situation. So it's the thing of just finding out, okay, what are you built for? Because everyone's built for something. It's like you just try to find out what it is, and then it becomes easy.
I like that because you're encouraging people to find out, how do you give back? Because each individual is different, right? So each individual is going to want to do something a little bit different. And I like that you set it up. It's like, hey, give from your giving style. And what does that look like for you? Like, what do you like to do? Do you not have the time and you just have a little bit of cash to help? Or do you have time and you can put in a little service? I know for myself, I'm a big acts of service person. And I'm just remembering back, and I've told this story before. It was just before Thanksgiving, and it was the first year that I didn't have my children on that holiday post separation. And I was down in the dumps. I didn't know what to do. I'm scrolling on Facebook and I see that they need help at the church to prep for the meal the next day. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. I go to the church, I don't know anybody there. And it's crazy. I live in a really small community, but I literally knew nobody who showed up at this church to like help put this meal together for the next day, which was also fantastic. So I show up, they welcome me in. I'm like, where can I help? And they put me to work. And it was great. Everybody was super nice, super sweet. I helped, small talk, got to know some new people. And I left there. My spirits were brighter. I was feeling better about my situation. I wasn't feeling down anymore. Went home, packed a bag, went and spent the night with my mom and had Thanksgiving dinner with her the next day where I wasn't going to before that. So it's a big like it gives meaning to your life and it also shifts like the energy of where you're at. And you talk about that in your book too, Bryan. Talk about like how these acts of kindness can actually be uplifting to our soul, especially like when we're not feeling very well or down on ourselves or down about life.
Yeah, so that's something I realized. I'm like every time I do like it's like you're trying to help other people to try to do something good, and you actually get help. Like you feel good. It's a byproduct. So it's actually scientific too. Like there's a chemical oxytocin that comes into your brain when you help people. But it's weird. It's like you go out, like in your situation, you go out and you meet people. They're great people. It brings your mood up because you turn into who you surround yourself with. Like if you surround yourself with positive people, you feel better. So in your situation, you went out, you hung out with people, they bring your spirit up, and then your actions next day turn differently because your mood changed or your mindset changed or something changed just by being around the positivity there. So it's just like it's hard to be depressed and down when you're helping other people. It sucks when you're down, but it's like go out and just try to do something. You'll feel better afterwards, you know?
100%. What are some of the things that you like to do, or tell us some stories about like what you've seen people do, or how you've sparked interest in people, or what these acts of kindness that you've done have rippled out, to other people and how you've inspired people.
Yeah, sure. So I'd say one story is I've read about it in the book. It was years ago. Uh, it was just like messing around. My friend Sean Martin and I, it was pouring down rain in Pittsburgh. I went to the dollar store. Just I was picking something up. I don't remember what it was. And I saw this basket full of umbrellas for $1 a piece. So I bought like 20 of them and it's cheap, 20 bucks, right? Tossed them in my trunk. I'm like, hey Sean, you want to go out and do something? I just grabbed some umbrellas. I don't know what we're gonna do yet. And what we did is we ended up driving around downtown Pittsburgh and he was in a passenger seat. He hopped out like kind of like a crazy man, ran at these people, gave them an umbrella and like took off. So it's like we are almost reverse pranking people, you know? So and I don't know what the people thought because it was pouring rain, like we were out of there. But it's like, okay, you're sitting on a corner getting drenched and some random brings you an umbrella. That was kind of cool. So that was fun. Um, but it's all kinds of stuff. Like I know one of my friends this last Christmas, I saw that let me think how he did it. He posted something on Facebook, which I saw, and his goal was not to like brag, he was trying to inspire others. And he had a whole bunch of receipts, like really long receipts from Burlington Coat Factory. And he said what he did was he set aside money for the year, and in like October, November, he called and paid people's layaway off because he figured most of the people were layawaying stuff for Christmas for their kids. So he called and just paid those off for them. I thought that was pretty cool too, because it's like something weird that you wouldn't, not weird, but like you wouldn't think about that stuff. It's not the traditional, hey, I'm gonna go volunteer at the shelter or anything like that. So it's like all these people coming up with like really cool things. I was talking with another guy. He said what he does is he pulls out his phone once a week and he looks for an someone he hasn't talked to for years, and he just sends them $5 on Venmo saying, "Hey, I was just thinking about you. Coffee's on me." So it's just like all kinds of like weird type of things people can do that you can't. That's like not the traditional. It's very unique.
I like how they're following their hearts too. That's really sweet. Earlier in the conversation, you were talking about how this video that you posted got a little attention from a local newspaper or publication. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So what happened was I put this video on Craigslist or on YouTube, and I had reporters hit me up, and a lot of them were like, "Hey, we want to do a story on this, on what you did." And I told them, I'm like, "We can do this story, but I want to keep it anonymous. Like, I want to keep." And the reason is, I don't want people watching and being like, hey, you know what? You can do that because you're young or because you're single or whatever the reason is. Um, and most of them said they can't do the story. But one girl, her name was Gabrielle, she hit me up from Chicago, the Windy Citizen, and she said, you know what? I can probably do this story. Let me talk to my editor. And she came back and she said, you know what? If we can confirm that the story's true, like talk to the people you helped, we'll do it. And what she did was they wrote the story and it went viral. And then so they wrote it, and it was on like CNBC and like all these different places. And in Pittsburgh, it made it on the front page of the Post Gazette 2 days in a row, which was really cool, especially because no one knew who it was. Like it was just anonymous. I knew, but I didn't really tell anybody. So it was kind of cool seeing it's like, okay, an idea now is on the front page of the newspaper, hopefully inspiring other people to do something.
That's fabulous. And of course it did. Why wouldn't it? I mean, we can look at a newspaper and see so much bad news, and then here's this where, something happened to them when they were younger. They go and post a ad in Craigslist, they help out some people, those people help out some people, and then they see, God, there's good in the world still. And why can't we share that, good things happen? It's so funny how sometimes when we post things on social media or whatever, or you see something positive, there's always something down in the comments. But why? Like, why that judgment? I think that we should flip the narrative on that, come out of judgment and start giving more, likes and positive comments to things that are going good than things that are going bad. I think we should, really get behind people like you and, you know, people that, have rippled out from the things that you've been doing and the things that they've been doing and, kind of follow suit. And I know I've been the recipient of like that cup of coffee or the fairy fare, that was paid by the person in front of me or something like that. And it also trickles through. Like then I turn around and I do the same thing, like McDonald's drive-through. Ooh, Liz went through the McDonald's drive-through through her son. Like, but yes, that happens, and pay for the meal behind me. It's real.
Yeah, big time. I had some, you talking about that. I had someone about 2 months ago. I went in, we ordered pizza for the family. We were eating out one night, and the bill was probably like $80 or something. And I went in, and they're like, hey, the guy in front of you paid your bill. And I'm not usually the recipient. And it was really cool because I'm sitting there thinking, it's like, I don't even know who the person was because they weren't there. So it's cool being on both sides.
It is, isn't it? And it kind of makes you smile and be like, you know what? There still is good in the world. And I think that's the big message here is that it's not all about us. It's about helping other people. When you help other people, it trickles down and, has that ripple effect that you were talking about, that cause and effect, which is one of the Hermetic principles, that we live by. One of the laws of the world is cause and effect, so how can we interact with that cause and effect law of the universe and have it be a positive thing out in the world instead of a negative thing out in the world?
Right. And you're right too, because small things make a difference in both ways. Like it's like you can do good things or bad things compound also. And the weird thing I've noticed is negative things get way more reach than positive things. It's like, especially like in social media, things like that. People love spreading negative stuff, but positive stuff doesn't get as much. So I feel it's like you have to do more things, because it's not going to get all the drama that some of the negative things do.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Yeah, I often ponder about that and, wonder why we're so drawn to drama instead of, the flip side for sure. Tell us a little bit about, these positive changes in our lives and living in the moment and focusing on that personal growth that can kind of come from living your life like this. What are the benefits?
Yeah, I think a lot of the benefits, I know myself just in general, living in the moment is difficult for me sometimes. I think it's difficult for a lot of people, especially with phones and things like that. Um, but I find it's like when I get an idea, I take action most of the time. I don't think too much about things. It's like, okay, I got like the Craigslist thing. It's like, okay, I'm not going to think the whole thing through, but I'm curious. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to post it on Craigslist and then we'll see what happens. I don't worry about It's like, well, if people reply, then what am I going to do? So a lot of times I'll just do things. It's like, okay, I'm going to just do this, the first step, see what happens, then I'm going to take another action. And I think that helps me be in the moment, and it helps me be successful in life too, because I don't get held up in all the what ifs. It's like, oh, what if I start a business and this happens and this happens and this happens? It's like, well, how about I just go buy, like, try to find a house. Like, say I'm a real estate investor. I want to just find a house. When I find one, I'll figure out what to do next. So things like that have helped me a lot. I think that would help a lot of people out too that just get round up and it's like, okay, what are all the negatives? It's like, don't even worry about them. Do the first step. Most of the stuff you're worried about is not even going to happen. And then figure out and keep moving. And eventually you're going to figure it out.
That's interesting too, because a lot of people can get hooked on that big picture, thinking like, what if they're sitting there going, well, how can I help out? And then, they're like, oh, all of a sudden I'm seeing the big picture and the big picture looks too big. And now I don't even take that first step. It's nice that you said that you're just like, you don't think about it and you just take that first step. I think that first step is, really what helps people to move forward, and kind of even step out of their comfort zone. Like, just take that first step.
Right. And it's small things. So I like with helping, I just keep my eyes open. So, like, for example, I have a guy that's detailing my car, young kid. And he's talking to me. I said, I got to do a podcast. He's like, oh, yeah, well, you're on a podcast. That's cool. And I was just talking to him. He's just starting his business. And my head, I'm like, you know what? I'd like to help you out. I don't know how. So I'm like, hey, you like to read? And I gave him the book Think and Grow Rich. Like, hey, this helped me in business. You know what I mean? It's like small things like that. Like, it's just when opportunities pop up, you'll feel it in your gut. Like, it's like whatever it is, it could be like, hey, you know what? I like reading books to kids, and then something pops up. Maybe the library's looking for a volunteer. It's like, instead of thinking it through, it's like, hey, let me just go stop up and check it out. And if you don't like it, you don't like it, but at least you just do it versus like thinking too much about it.
That's awesome. And you're really speaking to like follow your intuition. You don't really need to think about it too hard. Like you were in the store and you saw the umbrellas, you got the umbrellas, and you and your friend had a great time, like jumping out of the car and, like pop surprising people with these umbrellas. And instead of getting soaked on the street corner, right? Or you're like, oh, I have an idea. I like to read, to kids. I'll pop into the library if I see that ad in the newspaper or on social media that they're asking for people to come read. Or you're helping out this kid who just started a business and you're like, hey, this helped me. That's that following your intuition. Like when it pops in, follow it. Like I have a 5-second rule. Like if it pops in your head, say it. Like if you don't, it's gone. That moment is gone for you. And that can be for like big things in life too, or little things where you want to help out or you're looking for like, oh, how can I help out? And then this idea pops out, follow through. I think that's really cool, Brian.
Yeah, and that's a really good point because I look at it too. If I don't follow through, I talk myself out of it. Because then you feel stupid, or you're like, you know what, that's crazy. Like people are gonna look at me funny, like saying I'm gonna go to Craig's Chicago. It's like if I told people I was doing that and thought that through, they're like, dude, you're nuts. You probably need to be on medication or something, you know. So it's just like if you take action, you go with your gut, just do the first thing and follow it and don't worry about other people and what they're going to think about. Or we're our hardest critic anyways. It's like we're going to talk ourselves out and beat ourselves up enough. It's like try not to do that.
Yeah, and I think this is why a lot of people like to be anonymous in the things that they do. And that's one of the things that you talk about in your book is being anonymous with the acts of kindness.
Yeah, so I was thinking in the book, I'm like, okay, number one, how can I inspire people to like make a difference? It's hard because talking about doing good stuff is cringy in today's world. It's like everyone on social media, a lot of people make videos on how they give to the homeless and they make it into a big production and it's just not, it's cringy, right? So I was thinking, how can you do this without like ulterior motives or like, how can you do it and keep it pure? So I'm like, okay, well, we're going to make it into a game and we're going to come up with a helping style similar to like the 5 love languages, like that. You're going to find out what you're built like. And then we're going to have roles. So rule number one is I saw a movie. I don't know. Have you ever seen the movie Fight Club?
Oh, yeah. First rule of Fight Club.
Okay. So,
Knows about Fight Club.
right. Yes, you don't talk. So I'm thinking it's like, okay, if we're gonna make a game, not like a board game, but like a life game, it's like rule number one, it's like Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club. So the rule number one with goodness game is give without remembering. What we're gonna do is there's a couple different ways to give. You can give and help somebody, and nobody knows, not even a recipient. It's like the purest thing you can do. Or you help and the recipient knows. That's also within the rules. What we're not going to do is we're not going to be like, hey, you know what? Here's what I did, and I'm going to go brag and tell everybody about it. But a lot of times you need to get people involved and talk about things. So there's an exception. It's like if you want to talk to other people and it's to get them involved and make a difference, that is that's fair in rule number one. So like if you need to round up people to raise money for someone that house is burnt down or raise clothes or whatever, you can post that on social media, like go out to the masses to try to make a difference. Just don't do it for your own reasons because hey, look at me, how cool I am, right? So that's rule number one. Rule number two, we talked about identify your helping style. It's like, okay, then you got to find out what are you built for. Rule number three, I learned a long time ago. It's like not everybody's your assignment. So a lot of times, like I'm a helper by nature. I'm just built that way. I feel like I need to help people. And I had to learn, it's like some people aren't for me to help. It's like either I'm not skilled in the areas they need help or something like that. So it's like I had to tell myself, it's like, okay, it's okay to not help everybody if it's not like in your helping style. You know what I mean? I don't know if that resonates with you at all.
Yeah, it does. And with the helping styles, like I was saying before, I'm a big acts of service. Or, you were comparing it to the love languages, right? Which I think is really interesting that you kind of took the love languages and put your own spin on it so you could help people, figure out how that they could give back. And I think that, this is something that I, love that you contacted me. I love that I can put content out there where it's like highlighting people who are just trying to do good in the world, just trying to do these acts of service, just trying to pay it forward in life, and just the kindness, just that pure kindness in the world. I think we need more of that, especially when, it's, you know, them versus us and, that side versus this side and all the loops that like we can get hooked into or triggered around, like to have these things that we can follow and be like, no, we're just everybody. We all have families. We may all have children or not. We all have people we care about, like what can we do to like bring everybody together instead of just constantly like separating each other, and a lot of it is, where we create separation in our own lives, not just they're creating separation with us. And these, small acts of kindness, and paying it forward can bridge the gap and be like, hey, I'm pretty sure you have the same values as I do. Let's get together and do something good for the world instead of, like all of this like separation that we're looking at right now.
Yeah, and you're right with the separation too, because it's like once you start helping, like once you start changing your mindset, we start looking at people as people again. It's like not you're this or that or this color or whatever. It's like you're a person. And some people need help. Some people can help. It's different things. Some people that are helpers can help and they're really strong in one area, but they need help in a different area. So it's like nobody's perfect either. But it's like once you start looking, it's like, hey, you know what? Maybe that lady that's screaming and angry down the road, maybe she's dealing with something. Like you start not judging people also. You know what I mean? Like when you see someone, it's like, hey, they're dealing with something hard in their life, and maybe that's their output. So maybe you just cut them some slack. You know what I mean? So it's like just looking at people is people in general.
Yeah, I love that you pointed out that that's that shift in perspective when you're looking at somebody and you take the judgment out of it, and you could possibly be like, okay, why would this person be upset? And then you start speculating, you're like, okay, you come out of that judgment about why someone might be behaving the way they're doing. You try to see a different perspective, and it comes from that shift in mindset that you were talking about. Like after you help somebody, you know that there's difficulty in the world. You experience your own difficulty. I experience my own difficulty. Life isn't perfect. And like you were saying, we get knocked on the head every now and then. And, we can only hope that there are people that can be open-minded with us when that happens to us. And then we can pay it forward in that way and being open-minded to someone else when we can see that they're having difficulty in life. And, it's not about, this, that, or the other. It's about like we are human beings having this human experience. And, what can we do to make the human experience better?
Right. And that even just made me think too, like say you work at a coffee shop or any service thing and you get like a super irate person, like sometimes it's just being calm. Like you're just there being calm to try to help them and de-escalate where they're at. Like that's a helping way. You know what I mean? It's like instead of fighting back and forth, it's like, hey, you know what? Let me take a deep breath and try to be calm and help this person that's dealing with whatever they're dealing with because you don't know what people are dealing with, you know.
It's so true. And if we can just have a little bit of compassion and kind of, hold our own self if we get triggered by it, just take that pause and, just breathe and kind of be with them and witness them in the moment that they're having for sure. It allows us to remain to be in a sense of peace, and we don't carry around, someone else's energy that we may pick up, you know, and carry it forward with us. It's the opposite. It's like, okay, find my peace within, and then maybe my peace and being able to just be witness to this person will rub off on them. Don't know. Maybe.
That's right. And yeah, you're right. You don't want to take their energy with you too. Like that's a thing. It's like you just because like you turn into who you surround yourself with. So if someone's negative, you want to make sure that that doesn't ruin your day also.
Yeah, 100%. Bryan, is there anything that we haven't shared yet that you would like to share with our audience?
I would say that there's just one more role that I think would be beneficial. It's like when you do this, it's easy to get burnt out. So you want to be intentional when you're helping people. So say you're a financial helper or your time, things like that. It's like you want to think ahead of time. It's like, okay, say I'm a financial helper. It's like I'm gonna pull a certain percentage of my paycheck and put it in a separate account, and then that money's just gonna sit. And when something pops up, I can help them with that money. Versus when things pop up, you start using your rent money or something like that, and you put yourself in a worse situation. Even more important with time. Once you start getting involved, especially with some nonprofits, things like that, if you start volunteering, it's easy to lose a lot of time there and get roped in. So it's like you need to think ahead of time. Here's what I'm able to do in my lifestyle and then stick to it. It's like, hey, you know what? I can help 2 hours a week on Saturday, or I can help 20 minutes a day, and know where you're pulling the time from. It's like I'm gonna not watch Netflix or whatever. Or same on the money side. It's like be intentional and have a budget ahead of time because burnout's real, especially with giver burnout. Like it's a thing that people get involved and they burn themselves out. So I would say be intentional when you're doing this because you don't want to put yourself in a worse situation. You can't help people if you're not good. You know what I mean? You need to make sure you're good also. So just find the balance.
Oh God, I love that you said that too, because givers can give to the point to exhaustion, like you were saying, to where they're burnt out. Don't create a deficit within yourself to where then you don't have anything left for yourself or left to continue to help people. God, that's a great thing to point out and a good aspect, to add to your book and to add to this conversation that we need to, kind of fill up our cup. And then when it's overflowing, then we give. Let never leave ourselves in a deficit or leave ourselves burned out. That's an awesome thing to point out, Bryan. This has been such a awesome conversation. I do like to ask my guests, what is a jewel of wisdom that you would like to leave our audience with today?
I would say the main thing I would say is take action. Whenever you get an idea, jump. Like literally just don't even think about it and start doing it, whatever it is. Could be like, hey, I want to start going back to church or something or whatever. It's like just do it. Don't think about it and then think about it afterwards and adapt.
Nice. Yes, everybody, follow your intuition. Your intuition will never do you wrong. Follow through whatever that thought is that's popping into your head, that gut feeling, that inspiration in the moment. Follow it and be inspired by other people. Like Bryan, you were inspired by your person, and then you figured out how to pay it forward after watching the movie. And then you're continuing to do it. You've written this book, which is going to touch a lot of people's lives. You're having a lot of conversations on podcasts like mine, and it's going to trickle out. And that's what we want. We want that trickle out. We want that ripple, and we want that to ripple out into the world so people can start thinking about, like, how can I give back? It's not just about me. Who needs help? What can I do to support the people, not only my family in my neighborhood community, and maybe it ripples out to the state and then the world. You never know. And we never know where that thread is going to weave. So Bryan, it's been such a pleasure to have you on the show. So great. How can people reach you? Where can they find your book? What's going on?
Yeah, sure. You can find the book on Amazon. Just go and look up The Goodness Game. And the website's goodnessgame.com. I have a copy of the book on there for free, also in PDF if you can't afford it. And you can take the helping style test on the website as well. No cost.
Oh, that's awesome. The test, and people love a good test. So that's fantastic that you
Right.
entered that on your website. That's awesome. Everybody, Bryan Driscoll, go out and get his book, The Goodness Game. If you can't afford it, like he said, he's got it in PDF version. You can pop it into like Speechify app or something like that, and listen to it while you're driving down the road and figure out how you can help somebody. Bryan, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for reaching out. It's been great having you on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was a great time.
Awesome. And thanks everybody for joining me. Again, this is Liz Peterson, and you're listening to Raise the Vibe with Liz. You can find me on my website, raisethevibewithliz.com, and social media at the same, Raise the Vibe with Liz. And remember, everybody, get out there and raise the vibe and see what you can do in your community, to see how you can give back and create that ripple like Bryan. Thanks, everybody. Have